Hi everyone. Today is the second day of my uh, book talk about many windows, and I'm sharing my lesson plan. Yesterday I talked about the first story, and it was called TJ, and it was about TJ, new kid in town. Now the second story is called Natalie, the Locket, and the picture is of a girl looking at a locket. Now, in this story, basically I'm talking about how the whole book is about community, but this story is actually about how economically dependent we are on each other. As a community, we give and we take. And in fact, in terms of economics, I mean, I'm not going to get into too much economics, but in terms of economics, we all actually depend on each other. And the healthiest societies are actually societies where the wealth is evenly distributed, not where the wealth is concentrated at the top and then a whole bunch of people have like nothing. Now, right now, we're going through a coronavirus epidemic, a pandemic. And one of the biggest problems coming out of it is that people can't go to work. And when people can't go to work, they can't earn money. And that whole system of economic dependence on each other gets disrupted. It's one of the reasons why people are so scared. Now, the thing is that I always think of economics there's a movie, an old movie I loved. It's called Hello, Dolly. And in that movie, there's one quote that is a really good quote about money. And I want you to remember this quote. In the quote, both Dolly and the guy she wants to get married to, both of them say the same thing about money. They say money is like manure. Now, you know what manure is? Manure is basically a fancy name for poop. Okay, it's either sheep or horse or cow. You know, cow poop is called manure. And the thing about manure is that it's an excellent fertilizer. And this is what they say about money. They say money is like manure. If you pile it all into one big heap, it'll stink. But if you spread it around and you give it out and you spread it all over the land, then it helps things grow. So when money is constantly in circulation, it's all part of the community. When it's constantly in circulation, people are providing services for each other. They're doing things for each other. It's all part of community. And that's what this story is all about. This story is called Natalie the Locket. And Natalie is one of the girls in the class that TJ has joined. Now, the thing about Natalie is that she is Buddhist. And when I was writing this story, I wrote this story when I was writing this story, you see, when we look at other cultures and other religions, there's always things that we can admire in those religions and things like values that we hold too. And the one value that I decided to choose for this story was the whole idea of right livelihood. That means earning your way in a morally correct way. Earning your living in a morally correct way. Right livelihood is a Buddhist concept that I completely agree with. It's also an Islamic concept. So this story is about right livelihood. Now, Natalie, her father owns a jewelry store, and they're kind of struggling. Now, one of the other one of the other kids that shows up in the story is a Jewish boy in class, and he's one of the other stories. His story will come later on. I wrote his story, and his story is about Hanukkah. Okay, so this is about Buddha's birthday, and it's called Natalie the Locket. Daddy asks, "Is that everything, Natalie?" She is going to say yes, but something holds her back. Daddy has taken her along to pick out jewelry at the wholesaler's. He trusts her taste. They get the usual chains, rings, and pendants. They'll look nice in the red velvet cases in the family store. Natalie? She's checking out some display cases on the other side. Daddy comes to see what she's looking at. Don't know about those lockets. People don't buy them anymore. Too old-fashioned. But a silver one has caught her eye. It does look old-fashioned, practically antique, but somehow she likes it. It has silver filigree on the top case, but the size is off. It's just a bit too big. The guy behind the counter asks if Natalie wants to look at it. She nods. Daddy opens his mouth to say something, then looks as if he's changed his mind. When the man drops the locket into Natalie's hands, she expects it to be cold, but it isn't. The clasp is a bit tricky, but there's room for two good-sized pictures of somebody's loved ones. How much, she says, trying out her business voice. The man gestures to the whole case. Take the lot and I'll give you a deal. The rest are hideous. She knows they can't afford to pick up merchandise that won't sell. There are bills to pay. She's seen them. Nope, she says, just this one. The man frowns and looks at Daddy. Natalie hates it when they do that, as if she's not even there. Daddy nods, so the man quotes a price. It's a little high, but Daddy says he'll take it. When they get back to the store, Daddy asks Natalie to set out the new merchandise. She puts it in a case in the corner and rearranges the others around it just so. It's very calming. Daddy says, I really like that locket in the corner. Natalie likes it too. It makes for a still spot in the display so that everything else in the case points to it. Natalie loves dealing with the customers, except when they're difficult. Mostly they aren't, but when they are, it's nice to know Daddy's within earshot. With Natalie there, he can focus on repairing jewelry people bring in. He uses his microscope glasses and tiny pliers to fix their heirlooms and make the customers happy once more. She looks at the silver locket again. Suddenly she's not so sure. It's so old-fashioned. Maybe she shouldn't have bought it, but it's done. She hopes it will sell. All they need now are some customers. Natalie looks through the window and sees buds on the cherry tree starting to get pink, a sign that Buddha's birthday will come soon. This year it's on May 10th. They'll go to the temple, begin the day with morning meditation in a large room with a lotus painted on the ceiling. Some of the kids will get wriggly, but Natalie loves the pure, clean silence of the place. They'll walk around the big wooden prayer wheels, spinning them. They'll gather up old prayer flags from the roof and garden and replace the ones that are really worn. They'll bathe the statue of the baby Buddha and get together with family and friends, and the food they'll eat. Not many people come in on a Monday evening. Maybe she can catch up on her meditation. She's finished her homework and is deep in thought when the bell on the front door rings. It's the happiest sound, the sound of customers. But it's not customers. It's Benjamin from school. He has a little girl with him, his sister, his cousin. She looks a bit like him. Natalie, what are you doing here? Natalie tells him how she helps her dad. Who's this? She asks, curious about the little girl. The girl gets shy. I'm Rachel. Benjamin says, she's my cousin. Then he starts looking in the cases. Can I help you? Asks Natalie. I don't know, he says. I'm looking for a birthday present for my mom. Rachel points to some gold chains. How about these? Benjamin shakes his head. I don't have enough money. Is it coming up soon? Says Natalie. Huh? What? Benjamin pulls himself away from the display cases. Your mom's birthday, is it May 10th? And she's surprised at her own words. How can she be so sure? Benjamin says May 11th. Off by a day. She was so close. Rachel's over in the corner. Benny, she says in a soft voice, come see. Rachel's staring at the locket Natalie picked up, even though she wasn't sure it would sell. The too big locket that should have felt cold in her hand, but didn't. Benjamin's eyes grow wide. He fumbles in his coat pocket and pulls out an old photograph. He glances from the photo to the locket, while Rachel tugs on his sleeve till he lets her see too. Rachel hands the picture back. Yep, it's exactly the same. Suddenly Natalie feels shy. Can I see it too? The edges are a bit frayed and the photo is cracked in places. It shows a little girl looking a bit like Rachel, wearing the same locket. Natalie wants to sell them. How much? Says Benjamin. When Natalie tells him, he smiles and starts counting out his savings. Benjamin says, my great-grandmother gave my mom a locket when she was a little girl, but Mom lost it. She always talks about it. I never thought we'd find one just like it. When did she lose it? A sad look clouds Benjamin's face. Natalie says, are you okay? Did I say something wrong? Benjamin says, it went missing on board the ship that was bringing them here. Natalie says, and now you're giving one back to her? Benjamin gets a puzzled look on his face. Yeah, that's right. Natalie says, don't you see? You're her son, and you're giving it back to her. It's like a circle getting completed. Benjamin shakes his head like he's trying to figure it all out for himself. Natalie has the strangest feeling. She sees the three of them, as if from way above here in this shop, as if their paths were meant to link at this very moment, as if they were meant to help each other. Benjamin was meant to buy that locket, and Natalie was meant to sell it to him. For one moment, the universe feels perfectly balanced. It's like she's lobbed the perfect jumper, the kind she knows will go in as soon as it leaves her fingers. Swish! Right down through the basketball net. A moment of perfection. Then, just like that, the moment's gone, and Natalie's just standing behind her daddy's shop counter, dealing with Benjamin from school. Rachel's ready to go. The little bell rings again. Another customer comes in, an elderly man looking for an anniversary gift. Natalie's in the middle of serving him when Benjamin says, "Bye, Natalie. See you at school." Rachel waves as they're leaving. Natalie waves back. Benjamin is happy and his mom will be so happy. And now this old man has chosen a gift that's sure to make his wife happy. Natalie's glad that she had something to do with it. That's the end of the story. Now, as you can see, the stories are not very long. But what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to build up a, a snapshot of a community. And I'm showing how the different ways that we interact with each other, with kindness, with mercy, and with mutual benefit. Like a lot of people don't realize that as long as they're doing a job that is legal and moral, it doesn't matter how low the job might be. Even even the cleaner at your mom's office, or the garbage people who collect the garbage, they all provide a vital service. We're all of service to each other. And that's what this story is really about. Like Natalie, by selling this locket, I mean, it might seem little, but it's not. It's actually very big. It creates happiness. It creates contentment within the community. So I'm showing in this story, I'm actually showing the economic dependence of each other within a community. So think of that next time you're buying something, and remember what I said about money and manure. It's actually very true. And the thing is, especially in a time like this with the coronavirus pandemic, the tendency is to hoard. And the thing is, hoarding is actually really, it's really awful, because in hoarding, uh, you're being very selfish. So try not to hoard. Try to still be generous. Try to still maintain that flow of money. Spread the money around, not in a ridiculous way. Spread it on good things. Don't like waste it, but spread the good around. And even within times of pandemic and times of crisis, it's important not to let that change who we are. Okay, so that's what this story is about. Now tomorrow, what I'll do is I'll deal with the next story, which is about a Muslim boy named Jamil, and it's called The Visit, and that one is going to talk about how people come and go from within a community. Okay, I hope you enjoyed it. Oh, one other thing. What I've decided to do is I've opened up a Patreon account. And this Patreon account, for anybody who wants to support what I'm doing in terms of these school workshops, these workshops that I'm doing online for free. By the way, I should also mention these workshops, like I said in the first video, these are not things I usually share in my workshops and presentations when I go to schools. Those workshops are on a different level, okay? I have developed and honed those workshops over years. This is just the tip of the iceberg. And I'm actually really good at engaging students in terms of really getting them interested in what I'm trying to teach and what I'm trying with the subjects that I'm trying to explore. So if you're a teacher or an educator and you want to book me, just let me know, okay? Or if you're not and you even just want to contribute, I don't know, whatever you can afford to my Patreon account, all is helpful. Okay, thank you very much. And tune in next time, probably Monday. Hopefully in a few days, I'll upload the next video about the next story. And we'll finish the whole book. Thank you for watching. Bye-bye.